D deficient. At least you're in good company. New research suggests that vitamin D may be one of the best vitamins for your entire body, since scientists have uncovered more than 200 different genes that are regulated by this nutrient. 90% of vitamin D circulating in our body is vitamin D3, which is made by the skin after exposure to sunlight. That's why it's known as the sunshine vitamin. Vitamin D3 is actually a pro-hormone that has been found in almost every type of human cell from your brain to your bones. What's even more compelling, studies show that almost every major disease can be linked to a vitamin D deficiency, including many cancers and bone diseases. Health providers and the public alike are starting to take notice. The New York Times called it a vitamin with broad influence. Fox News reported that except for stopping smoking, there are not many other known interventions that are capable of such a reduction in the risk of death. Emerging scientific research indicates that vitamin D3 plays a key role in our overall health and well-being, and that we can all benefit from adding this supplement to our diet. Sun and diet alone just aren't enough for today's fast-paced lifestyle. By covering ourselves in sunscreen to avoid the sun's harmful UV rays, we are blocking our primary source of vitamin D. Secondary sources such as naturally enriched foods and products that are fortified with vitamin D do not contain enough to maintain healthy levels in the blood. So if you want your vitamin D without harmful rays, spray it. Taking an oral spray helps for quick absorption into the circulatory system, tissues, and cells. Vitamin D3 spray is easy to take, perfect for those who dislike swallowing pills, and is 10 times easier for the body to absorb. So be that one in a billion that takes their health seriously. Getting enough vitamin D might be the most important thing you do for yourself. Vitamin D3 spray, a little drop of sunshine that will make a big difference for a long, healthy life.
Hi, Kathy. Can you hear me? I'm so excited for you guys. I know. Can you hear me? Oh, great. Yes, I'm so excited for everybody. I mean, words cannot describe the excitement in the air. Everybody is just, I got a brand new girl too who's just got in, and she just got hers today, so she's been telling everybody, which is good. I'm going to get started since Mark's presentation's right after mine, so it kind of makes me speed up a little bit. I'm going to try to record this. We'll see what happens. I'm always curious what it's going to look like. Hi, Sherry. Hi. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the T.E.N overview. You may have or you may not have heard about a phenomenon that is happening now that's soft-launching in the United States. It's called T.E.N. And T.E.N is a really, really exciting program that involves your health and also some other things that we'll get to later on. But, first of all, let's talk about this company, and let's talk about where it comes from. Okay, we're going to talk about T.E.N. T.E.N is a division of the company Team Effort International. Team Effort International was founded in 2002, about a little over 10 years ago, and it's headquartered in San Ramon, California. And the sister division, My Video Talk, is in over 51 countries right now. So Team Effort International is a global debt-free company. And you see that beautiful couple down there in the right-hand corner. That's Mel and Amy Gill. They have been successful entrepreneurs in the marketing industry for over 20 years. And they're beautiful people. They love people. They're genuine. And you're going to see as we go along here that they care about what happens to the average person, and they want to change lives across the world. Let's start out by talking about T.E.N, and let's talk about some of the exciting things that T.E.N has. And let's start off with one of my favorite sprays. T.E.N is all about vitamins and supplements, but very unusual delivery system. If you're looking at this tube, this is called the D3licious. Has to do with vitamin D. Vitamin D has receptors in every cell in the body, and they're finding that vitamin D may be affecting a lot of the chronic diseases that we have that are so rampant in this country and across the world. So, you know, the research is all pointing to something, and that is a deficiency, a widespread deficiency of vitamin D. Could be because, as you saw earlier on that film, that could be because we really don't get that much sun anymore. You know, we don't spend much time outside because we've been told we might get cancer, so everybody's wearing skin block and they're hiding from the sun. So, you know, it's very hard to get the main source of D anymore. And if you haven't been tested for vitamin D, you most definitely should get tested, okay, so that you know whether or not you're deficient. Now, I'm going to talk about these sprays. I'm going to show you all of the sprays. There's 4 of them, and I'm going to show them to you, each of them. So D3licious is the name of the spray, and of course it's vitamin D3, and as you can tell, it comes in a tube, or a vial as they call it, and on it has a label that talks about the ingredients, which is vitamin D. No caffeine, no sugar, no fillers, no binders. Plus, on this label, you probably can't see it that well, but there at the very bottom is an expiration date, because these are pharmaceutical grade, and this is a 30-day supply. Now, the expiration date on this particular canister is exactly a year from now, so that's pretty good to know. But it also tells you that each spray is 625 IUs. You know, we recommend, there's 240 sprays, you know, per tube. We recommend that people will spray 8 times a day. If they're vitamin D deficient, they may have to spray more than that, depending on what their doctor says. But this is obviously, you know, just a normal dosage would be 625 per spray, and 8 sprays a day is what's recommended. So vitamin D. Now, vitamin D is actually one of my problems. I have a deficiency in vitamin D, but people are beginning to realize that, you know, that's something that nobody had looked for before. So now doctors are asking everybody to take the test to see what their number is. So you need to find out what your D number is and make sure that you're getting the correct amount of D. Okay? Let's talk about the second spray. This second spray I'm really excited about. It's a brand new spray that I own. It's a B12 Blast. And the B12 Blast is the same as the other spray. It's in a tube, no caffeine. Isn't that wonderful? No caffeine. You see a lot of B12 out there, but usually it has caffeine added to it. So this B12 Blast has no caffeine, and it's methylcobalamin. It's the uncyanide version of cobalamin. So you really do want to get this type of B12. This is the one that they use for injections. This is the expensive injection one. In fact, I'm going to talk about that on the next slide. But the spray is not expensive. It's very inexpensive. And this is a 30-day supply. Like I said before, the expiration date, everything, pharmaceutical grade. You're going to love this. Now, you're looking at the slide and you're probably thinking, wow, that looks painful. Yeah, I'm a person who doesn't like shots. I don't know about everybody else, but I would much prefer to spray. And this spray has a very fast effect because what happens is when you spray it in your mouth, it absorbs into what they call the bucca mucosa. It's the side of your mouth. It's a it's like the side of your cheeks, so inside of your cheeks, and it goes straight into the blood system. So you don't have to worry about it going through, your digestive system, because that's usually where everything starts to fall apart. I personally can't handle most pills because, as you know, when they go into your stomach, then everything acts on them, degrades them, tries to break them apart. And even if they don't break them apart, well, then of course you've got this whole pill that ends up coming back out, but that's a whole nother discussion. So B12 Blast, 30-day supply also. And let me talk about, what normally happens with B12. A friend of mine who is in the audience gave me this picture, and I happen to love this picture because of two reasons. And by the way, if you need to, you can hit the little magnifying glass and magnify this to see it a little bit better. But the reason I love this picture is because notice up there is two different B12s. Okay, the one we have is the better one. Okay, the one that costs $30 per injection. Woohoo! Lovely. Most people tell me that those injections only last about 5 days. How scary is that? I mean, it's bad enough that somebody will have to stick you with a needle to do that, but then it only lasts for 5 days. Even in a good situation, maybe 10 days. That's just too many shots for me. Okay, I love my energy because B12 does give you energy and helps you with weight loss, helps people to get through the day, but I don't think I want a shot. Now let's talk about the next thing here. The next thing I want to talk about, as you can tell, some people, in fact a lot of people in America, don't get enough sleep, which is kind of interesting because we are one of the workingness, can't even say the word, we work a lot. The people in the United States, we don't take holiday like everybody else does. I mean, we work continuously. We work 60 hours, a week, and that's not unusual. So you would think we would be really tired and we would get lots of sleep. Well, I hate to tell you this, but one of the biggest problems in the United States is lack of sleep. People usually don't get more than 6 hours, and a lot of them are trying. So that picture pretty much depicts how I used to be before I got the Dreamtime. The Dreamtime is melatonin and tryptophan. It's all natural, no sugar, no caffeine, of course, obviously, and same pharmaceutical grade spray into your mouth. And what I love about this spray is that it takes effect pretty calmly. I mean, it sneaks up on you, it really does. And it has a warning on it that says, do not use this while operating a vehicle. And I can tell you from my own personal experience that I took this on a plane once, and I remember thinking, I have never been able to sleep on a plane before. I used to think, how do people do that? And I sprayed this on the way back from California in March. And the funniest thing, the last thing I said to the girl sitting next to me is, I wonder how long this is going to take. Well, let me just say that she was the one who was poking me when we got to the airport, the arrival. She was the one saying, we're here, And I could not believe that I slept. The last thought I had was, how long is this going to take? Dreamtime. It definitely works, and I'm going to tell you now, do not use that while driving a vehicle, okay? Now let's talk about the next thing. This is my favorite spray, and you can tell by looking at this picture why, okay? And you can look at me and tell why. Thank you, Kathy. Kathy says every time she sees me, I look slimmer. That's Kathy, you and I are going to be best friends forever. Okay, this is a picture of me. March 16th, I was up in California, and it was a before picture. I didn't know it was going to be a before picture. I had said to somebody, I really don't want to take a picture. But, Pastor Denise, bless her heart, she was like, okay, we're going to take pictures of everybody. So we stood in front of this banner and took pictures in the corporate office. And as you can tell by looking at me, I was like a little bit heavy during that period of time. Well, 8 days later, and I do mean 8 days later, if you can believe this, look at that picture. I mean, it's kind of funny because my husband had said to me, I'm taking you out to dinner. And I was like, wow, great. I've lost a few pounds. I'm ready to go to dinner, and I went and put on this dress, the dress that I always put on knowing that it's not going to fit. But guess what? I knew I had lost a couple of pounds. I could tell. And when I put this dress on, I was even amazed at this picture. I looked at the picture on his camera and I was like, oh my gosh, who is that? Who has that waist? I was pretty amazed, you guys. So I was really excited, and obviously I was going around posing all over the room. That's taken in my breakfast area at the counter at the bar, kitchen bar, and I was pretty amazed. So he took a lot of pictures of me, and I'm pretty excited about that. You know, out of all the things that I can say about these sprays, one thing I can definitely tell you is, even though you're looking at the picture and you're seeing a slimmer me, somebody with an actual shape now, I got to tell you that I blame not only the Metabolith for this, I also blame the Dreamtime and the D3, because I'm D3 deficient and I couldn't sleep because of hormonal problems. I'm at that age, yeah, where I wake up with adrenaline, you know, I have to wake up really fast. Let's just put it. And when I'm awake, I'm wide awake. Well, since I've had the Dreamtime, I've been able to go to sleep. And you know, they say that you lose weight in your sleep. So obviously, if you don't sleep, well, you know, that could definitely slow down your weight loss. So the Dreamtime and the Metabolith, I call it the double punch combo, because between these two things really made my health better, and this D3 too. My blood pressure dropped, you know, about almost 40 points. So the D3 is actually kicking in pretty good. So let's talk about, okay, you've seen these awesome products. Let's talk about how can you also use this for your wealth. I mean, we're talking about health, but let's also talk about wealth, okay? I'm going to talk to you tonight about something we call team marketing, because you can take these wonderful sprays and you can build a small economy for your family. You can help other people, you know, in your neighborhood, possibly pay some bills or develop a new economy for their family, a new legacy, whatever it is that they decide they're going to do. We've got it here, okay? And I'm going to show it to you real quick. Here's the 4 sprays, but just remember, this is only 4, and there's 6 more of these sprays coming. That's why we are called 10. There's going to be 10 sprays, in case you didn't know that. But let's talk about you and you becoming a team builder and changing your wealth. Okay, I'm going to tell you about the T.E.N program. In the T.E.N program, the highlights of the T.E.N comp plan: weekly pay, you qualify for everything with 1 on the left and 1 on the right, no flushing of volume. That is huge. If you're familiar with anything that has to do with compensation plans, you know that sometimes companies flush volume. Melanie McGill, they're beautiful people. You know, they don't want to see us stressed. It's wonderful. And once you get to know them, you will realize they don't want us stressed. They believe that if we earn it, we should keep it. End of story. And we have already proven to make millionaires in Team Effort International across the world. And I'm telling you, people are doing awesome things in little third world countries across the world. So you know that this is going to be huge. So let's talk about 10 ways we get paid. See this 10 theme? You're going to see 10 a lot. There's a theme, and I love that Mel Gill talks about, you're going to see 10, 10, 10, 10. You know, it's great, you know, because when people ask you how you are, you can just say, I'm a 10. Now, 10 ways to get paid. There's 10 ways. We're going to go over them very quickly. The first one is, of course, the obvious one: retail commissions. And I got to tell you something, you guys. Everybody wants these sprays. Everybody. I'm beginning to get stocks for my sprays. We have a saying. It's called seize the spray. But the reason why people want these sprays is because they're beginning to hear about how wonderful they are. And testimonies are huge. When somebody says that their blood pressure has dropped, or you see pictures of them losing weight, or you know, you notice that somebody who usually moves pretty slow is now extremely energetic, Then you start to say, okay, what is doing this? Well, let's just talk about that. You know, retail sales, of course, you know, if you become part of the T.E.N program, you get the T.E.N sprays at wholesale and you're able to retail them. And of course, up to a 40% profit from wholesale to retail. So that's just the first way. It gets really good after this too. Let's talk about that team marketing I was telling you about. Each time that you tell somebody about this program and they decide they want to sign up as a representative, and this is unlimited. You can tell as many people in one day, as many people in 1 year, as many people as you want over the next 10 years. Every single time, you will get $50 from the company for doing that, you know, because they signed up as a representative. But you know, this is just the beginning of a really beautiful story, a story of your building wealth, okay? Now, you told 2 people, okay? And remember me saying one on the left and one on the right qualifies you for everything? Can you believe that? It's ridiculous, isn't it? I think so too. I love Mel and Amy Gill. They made this program for the average person, not for the marketing gurus out there in the world, not for the people who have long lists of people that they know and will do anything they say, but for the average person. So you share this with 2 people, one on the left and one on the right, you become the first ranking of team builder. And of course, that's a very awesome rank and people will applaud you for that. But let's talk about what happens after that. Now that you're a team builder and you brought in Mary, that was one of your 2 people. Well, Mary, of course, wanted to bring in her 2, so she brought in Ben first. Well, here's what's cool about this team builder bonus, guys. You know, you brought in Mary and you got $50. And Mary brought in Ben, you got $25 because of Ben. That's what I said. As soon as Mary brought in anybody, if she brings in a girl named Julie, you still get $25, okay? That's beautiful. 10 years from now, Mary may bring in 10 people and you get $250 because of all 10. I mean, that is an awesome bonus. Unlimited payout, okay? Unlimited. No flushing of volume. Now, let's talk about the next ranking, executive bonus. Executive means that you brought in your 2, and then they brought in their 2. And it looks just like this slide, okay? This slide looks a little crooked to me, but it looks just like this slide. You earn $100 reward from the company one time for becoming an executive. Mel Gill says that an executive rank is the most important rank in our company. And you know, I believe him because you'll notice that word executive comes up all the time. And when he's at events, that's what he talks about. He talks about the executives because he says that is when you are part of the company because you now have a team of 6 and they are all qualified for bonuses and residuals. Love it. Now, the next thing we want to talk about is weekly cycle bonuses. Weekly cycle bonuses are huge in this company. It has to do with working as a team. This is not just you. This is you and your team working together to build a network that is getting paid off the leverage of the network. It's pretty cool, okay? So, you know, we were talking about you're becoming executive and you becoming team builder and all these people, all these representatives that are being added because of that in your organization. As it grows, every time the computer looks in the system and sees 4 new representatives on one team and 2 representatives on the other leg, the other team, then you get a $150 cycle every time. Can't beat that, okay? 150. That is actually 2 ways we get paid because we get a $100 cycle plus we get a half bonus cycle, which is 50. So it comes out to be $150. Okay, 4 and 2. And this is this maxes out at $5,000 a day or $35,000 a week. And you may be chuckling about that, maybe you're not, but there are people in the world in Team Effort International right now that have already reached $35,000 and have maxed out this bonus. But it is unlimited levels, so you know, if you don't get it in the first 4,000 levels of your business, you still can still go on until it happens, okay? Let's talk about your first check. Your first cycle looks like this. Your first cycle is a beautiful thing. Let me explain it to you, okay? Let's break this down. Okay, you brought in 2 people. You got $50 for each representative, okay? That was a $100 fast start bonus. Then those 2 representatives brought in their own 2 representatives. So you got $25 each time. So that's 25, 25, 25, 25. That made $100. Okay, then you became an executive, because that's what happens when you get that team builder bonus that many times. You became an executive and you got the one-time $100 reward. And of course, this was your first cycle, so you got $150 for your first cycle. That's a $450 check. And it's a nice little check to take to your family or whatever and tell them, hey, see what I'm saying? This is really going to be a nice little extra income situation right here. Let's talk about monthly passive income. Now, you know, you have a lot of bills. I know I do. And you may say you don't have a lot of bills, but I'm going to tell you something. There are some bills that just don't go away, like your cell phone bill, your cable bill. I mean, you end up having to pay those every month because you can't pay them off. It just doesn't make sense. So no matter how hard you try, you end up with monthly bills. Now, wouldn't it be nice if you also got a monthly check that just kept coming in every month to pay all those residual monthly bills? I agree. Let's talk about that, okay? In this company, you can build a residual income. That means that you get paid monthly on business that happened the previous month. Like it? Yes, I do too. And I got to tell you, residual income is one of the best things you can have. Ask any rock star who gets royalties. Ask anybody who gets renewal checks, any insurance agent that gets renewal checks. It's the most beautiful thing to get money, even on work that you have already done, okay? 6 sales on one team matches up with 3 sales on the other. And these are actually points, okay? There's 6 points matches up with 3 points on the other team and creates a $25 cycle bonus each time that happens. So what the computer does is it looks through and it sees 25, 25, 25, 25, adds it all together, and you get a nice monthly little residual check from all of those 3 6 cycles, you know. And the points, well, we'll talk about that on the next slide. Okay, let's talk about how that happens, because I want you to see a good visual of this. But this is what it looks like. You know, your whole team is, of course, sharing these products with other people. So people are you know, getting the products, and so you're having to get bigger auto shifts because you run out of product, which I got to tell you, it happens a lot because these are awesome products, so they're in high demand. But every time that the computer sees 6 points, because each product is either, you know, 1 or 2 points, or maybe 4 points, it depends on how many they buy. As it sees 6 points on one team and 3 points in the other, that's a $25 cycle every single time. Okay, and that's what it looks like visually. But here's one more visual. If that wasn't enough, here's one more visual. It's my favorite visual because it shows something. It shows that your business will grow. Okay, your business is meant to grow, okay? So you're going from 10 cycles to 100 cycles to 1,000 cycles. You know, over time, you want to build this residual income that keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And as your organization gets bigger and they're offering more product to the community, then of course your check gets bigger. So you go from $250 a month to $2,500 a month to $25,000 a month. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, okay? Now, besides the residual income, there's something that you should know about that's called the Luxury Club, the LCQ qualifier. Melanie McGill, they love to give away great stuff. That's all I can say. And I have proof. I know, because I got a Mercedes-Benz from them a couple of years ago. And I'm telling you, every time I go in the garage, I think about the fact that, who can believe this? 100 points on one team and 50 points on the other. You know, those 3 and 6s we just saw. As soon as you get to 150 on one side and 100 on the other, you qualify for this car bonus of up to $600 a month for a car. And the car is a Mercedes or a BMW. I mean, really. Not just any car, but also your VIP status for everything. VIP retreat, events, parties, lots of fame and glory. It's a beautiful thing. They're just always putting you in front of people and showing your video, and it's very exciting. But you know, as crazy as that may sound right there, it gets even better, because the next bonus is the Diamond Club bonus, which is 200 points on one team and 100 points on the other team. And when I say team, I'm referring to the left leg and the right leg. Up to $1,200 a month car bonus. Okay, that buys a pretty nice little car. Luxury trips, lifestyle, and rings. I mean, Mel says he's making T.E.N into a lifestyle company, and I believe he is, because you know, he wants to do it upright. He wants this company to be, you know, something that people say, wow, what are they doing over there? All these people are driving these nice cars and taking these awesome trips, and I'm okay with that. I know you are too. You know, I love Mel and Amy Gill. Yeah, diamonds are a girl's best friend, Kathy. So are Mercedes, by the way. T.E.N Executive Club. Now, if that wasn't enough, there's a recognition club that was made by Mel's father, and it has to do with 1-star, 2-star, 5-star, 10-star. I know that kind of sounds like a little Dr. Seuss rhyme, but let's just say that this is a little more interesting. 1-star level means you reach $2,000 in 1 week's paycheck, and the company came along and doubled that bonus and gave you an additional $2,000 because you are 1-star. You deserve all the fame and glory, and wow, you know, they're going to give you money on top of that. But then they're going to tell everybody. There's an email go across the world that talks about you, okay? So this is a recognition club, and I love being recognized this way. 2-star level, reach $5,000 in 1 week's paycheck, and you receive a wonderful trip that's going to be announced later that for two. And I'm voting for, you know, some exotic places. When you see Mel, tell him that you want to go wherever it is you want to go. Some people say Hawaii. I said Dubai. He told me maybe not Dubai. It's kind of hot, but you know. 5-star level, reach $10,000 in 1 week's paycheck and receive a trip worth the same for two. And I'm thinking Bora Bora, Tahiti, you know, the really nice ones, okay? And the sister company, they have the Oasis of the Seas for the 5-star level, which is pretty nice. But like I said, Bora Bora. Okay. 10-star level, reach $25,000 in 1 week's paycheck, and the company comes along and gives you $25,000 more dollars on top of that. No matter what amount it was. Okay, if it was $27,000 you made in one check that first time, then you get $25,000 on top of that. Whew, yeah, that's a big check. Very exciting stuff. So let's talk about, you know, you're thinking, wow, all this lifestyle stuff, all this luxury, how much is this going to cost? I mean, what do I have to do to get some of this stuff? You're going to love what I'm about to tell you, because this is really exciting. We have 3 fun packages, and I say fun packages because wait till you find out what they include, okay? The basic T.E.N package includes 10 tubes of spray, okay? 10 tubes of spray, plus you get enrolled as a member of T.E.N, and right there, that's worth more than $249. But then about 30 days later, your auto ship is $59 every month. You'll get 4 tubes of spray, and that's the basic T.E.N package. So you got to admit, that's pretty reasonably priced right there. The super T.E.N package is $399, and it includes 20 tubes of spray. That's $500 worth of spray right there, plus 10 samples. 10 samples of spray on top of that. Plus, it's a $59 auto ship for 4 tubes of spray every 30 days. Okay, now the last and most awesome, and I do mean most awesome package, is the Diamond T.E.N package, $399. It also includes 20 tubes of spray and also 10 samples. Yes. But after that, this is even better, $119 a month for the Diamond T.E.N auto ship, and that gets you 10 tubes of spray. That's what, $11.90 a tube. Wow, and guess what? These retail for around $25. So that's an awesome value right there, and you'll want to, of course, share that with everybody. But now you see what I'm saying. You know, here you got $399 for $500 worth of spray. Wow, it's just awesome. And you're becoming a member of this awesome company with all those wonderful bonuses and building your own economy. So, you can't beat that. But the really wonderful thing about this whole situation is that as you build your residual income, as you build your team, as you leverage other people's time as well as yours, as you become a network, then you also develop the most important thing of all, and that is freedom. So, this is the key right here, you guys. Passport to freedom. Get back with the person who told you about this, who brought you to this broadcast, and tell them, I'm ready to be free. Okay, I'm ready to get mine. Because it's very important that you start to plan for your future and your own economy. So thank you very much, you guys. And I really appreciate your time. And I hope you have a lovely, lovely evening.